I'm going to give you the top 3 takeaways I got from losing 5 kilos in the last 6 weeks. Hi, I'm Tristan with TH Training. We help business and career driven individuals get the same levels of success out of their health, their body and their fitness. 6 weeks ago, I set the goal of dropping 5 kilos in the next 6 weeks. This is what's called a mini cut. Usually happens after a period of where you've been focused on muscle gain, strength gain, you've been adding some weight to your body weight, you've taken on muscle, but you've probably also taken on fat along with this. And that's a usual part of the muscle building or strength building process, unless you're a beginner. So I've been training for the last 8 months with the main goal to be adding muscle, adding strength. It required a surplus of calories and taking on body fat along with that. I did hit that target. I hit 86 kilos this week, where I started out at 91 kilos 6 weeks ago. Now, mini cuts are not for everyone, and probably they're for a very small group of people who have been training for some time with the main goal being adding muscle, adding strength. They're not for a beginner starting out where that main goal is fat loss. Given that it is usually done over a short period, 2 to 6 weeks, it's something where we can maximize the progress that we can make, but we're not going to maintain this for a long period of time. Many people starting who are about dropping a significant amount of body fat or weight, this is something to stay away from. The results over the last 6 weeks were I did drop those 5 kilos. I dropped my body fat percentage by 2%. And a caveat with body fat percentages is that they are somewhat inaccurate. Usually you're better going by tape measure or by an actual calipers measurement. My 3 takeaways from this mini cut, this short fat loss period, was number 1 was trusting in the plan and sticking to it. I set the plan at the start. I set the behaviors that I was going to have in terms of feeling less full, bringing my protein even a little bit higher than it was, and making sure not to snack or eat things outside of what I could tell what was going in that, so that included eating out, things like that. There were a few little slip-ups along the way. I got right back on track and I didn't keep my head or feel sorry for myself and then in turn make a worse mistake the next day. My second takeaway was focusing on behaviors or habits versus getting into minutiae. At this stage, I was just looking at general amounts. I was weighing some things, but for the majority of stuff, just looking at, was I feeling full? Was I eating too fast? Was I drinking enough water? I did use coffee to get around some of the hunger bits that were coming with it. So I upped that over the last while, and then drinking a bit more water as well to help with that. And the last takeaway was realizing that I did not have enough volume in my training to get what I want. When I am working with people, I do err on that smaller side, on that lesser side of volume, not trying to hit them with too much, because what can happen is they already have stressful jobs, they already have busy lives, and adding more stress or too much stress on top of that can risk injury, illness, or then burning out or just getting so pissed off with the program and giving up. But at where someone is at when they're training years, that volume does need to increase over time. And I did stay on that lower end, realizing now that I should have had that volume higher. So even before I went into that mini cut fat loss phase, my volume wasn't high enough. So when I did drop it going into that, it was dropped too low, and that was probably why the muscle did get lost. If you've got any questions on fat loss or on how to plan for a fat loss period, get in touch, drop me a message, and we can have a chat about it. One last thing I wanted to add was, coming out of this fat loss period, I'm meant to be switching back now into this calorie surplus, starting to go back into muscle gain and strength gain. And I'm finding it hard to switch because the habits I've built up over the last 6 weeks of being a bit hungry, eating a little bit less, training less. I'm now finding it hard to switch into this thing where it's like, okay, I gotta up my training volume, I gotta up the amount of food I'm having. And just realizing that, yeah, everyone goes through this. Change is hard. Starting is hard. And changing from something that you're currently doing to a new way of doing things is hard as well. I hope that someone out there can relate to this, that the things you've been doing have not been giving you what you want. You need to change to this new way of doing things. Anyway, we'll chat soon.